Daft Punk's origins would begin in 1987, Paris, as two high school friends that would bond together over their similar tastes for music and films. Thomas Banglater and Guy Manuel de Homem Christo would hang out like any normal teens, listening to music and seeing movies. One film in particular the pair loved was the cult classic 1974 Phantom of the Paradise by Brian De Palma. In fact, loving it so much they saw it over 20 times. Within the rock opera, the protagonist wears a helmet, and coupled by the extravagant set designs, production and music, the boys were totally captivated by the shows. Many fans think this is where the idea for the helmet use actually stems from. With their passions for music, the pair decided to form a band called Darling, together with the future founding member of the Phoenix band, their friend Laurent Brankowitz. The band's name drew inspiration from the Beach Boys song of the same name, with the newly formed band making a cover of the song and experimenting with creating a few tracks to launch their first record in April of 1993. Although the reaction from critics didn't go exactly as planned, with the newspaper calling it Daft Punky trash, but little did they know this setback would actually be a blessing in disguise, as it would start a chain reaction of events that would give the world Daft Punk as we know it today. While on a night out going to an underground rooftop rave, both Thomas and Guy Manuel would be struck with inspiration. The pair had never experienced this type of music before, or experienced a setting where the live mixes the DJ played would be a one-of-a-kind that happened in the moment. Soon after, Darling would disband, with the pair going off together to start making a new type of sound, unlike any they had made before. Taking inspiration from the bad reviews in the papers, they decided on the stage name Daft Punk. By September of 1993, Daft Punk had readied a demo tape which they gave to Soma Records co-founder Stuart McMillan at a rave at Euro Disney. The label released the duo's debut single, The New Wave, shortly after, in April of 1994, instantly hailed by the dance music press as a work of a new breed of house innovators. It was followed by May 1995's Da Funk, the band's first true hit. The record would go on to sell 30,000 copies worldwide and saw thorough rinsings by everyone from music journalists such as Chris Needs to DJs such as the Chemical Brothers. In 1996, the buzz around Daft Punk led them to sign with Virgin, and the label released the single Da Funk Musique, recorded and mixed at the duo's iconic Paris studio, Daft House. In January 1997, the French duo known as Daft Punk debuted their album Homework. A nod to the group's DIY aesthetic, the album quickly became a commercial success, reaching their number 3 spot in France and remaining on the charts for over a year. The singles Da Funk, Around the World, Burnin' and Revolution 909 also charted in the countries such as France, the UK, the US, and Australia. To support the album, the duo embarked on the Daft in Direct tour, one of the few times fans would actually see the pair perform without masks. As the band's fame began to grow, they wanted to stay away from the spotlight, believing that the music should be the only focus. In an effort to keep a low profile, the pair often used cheap masks and disguises in public appearances. But by 1999, they knew they needed a permanent solution, which brought a collaboration with French art directors Alex and Martin, along with Paul Hun of Daft Arts, to create the iconic robot personas that the group is known for today. These early versions of the helmets came equipped with LED lights that could display a message and were controlled by custom-made gauntlets. The helmets also required the use of bulky backpacks to power them, and the entire project cost a total of $65,000 to design and produce. The group also released an iconic music video collection, Daft, a story about dogs, androids, firemen, and tomatoes, featuring clips directed by Roman Coppola, Michael Gondry, and Spike Jonze. After the success of their debut album, Thomas and Guy Manuel sought to fuse technology with humanity in their next project. With inspirations drawn from their childhoods in their 70s and 80s, they recorded their second album, Discovery. The album featured a retro-futuristic sound and blended disco, synth-pop, house, garage, and R&B, which also closely matched the aesthetic of the robotic helmets and gloves the duo introduced with the release. With contributions from artists such as Rom Anthony, Edwards, and DJ Sneak, Discovery was an even bigger hit than their first album. The album reached number 2 in France and the UK, and the singles One More Time, Digital Love, Harder, Faster, Better, Stronger, and Face to Face also charted in the UK and the US. In November 2001, the duo released Alive 1997, a remix edit of the Birmingham stop on the Daft in Direct tour. This album expanded their fan base, but faced backlash from their core fans, who were more into the house sound. The duo capped off the Discovery era in 2003 with Interstellar 5555, the story of the Secret Star system, an animated film they produced with anime and manga creator Leiji Matsumoto, which used the album as its soundtrack. For their third album, Daft Punk took a drastically different approach. Created in only 6 weeks, compared to the 2 years spent on Discovery, Human After All was a raw, stark set of songs inspired by George Orwell's 1984. The album was recorded with a handful of gear, including an 8-track machine, and was released in March of 2005. Though Human After All received polarizing reactions due to its cold and repetitive sound, it still fared well commercially. The album reached number 3 in France, was a top 10 hit in the UK, and hit number 1 on the Billboard Top Dance Electronic Albums chart in the US. It was also nominated for the Best Electronic Dance Album at the 2006 Grammy Awards. In support of the album, the duo released 3 music videos that introduced updated versions of their helmets, which were now sleeker and more precise, allowing them to play instruments with better focus. In April of 2006, the duo released Musique Volume 1, 1993 to 2005, a compilation of their best-known songs and remixes, accompanied by the videos for Human After All's singles. That May, they premiered their experimental sci-fi film Electroma at the Directors' Fortnight at the Cannes Film Festival. The film, which followed a pair of robots seeking to become human, was initially met with mixed reviews but over time gained a cult following. The ending of the film, in which one of the robots self-destructs and the other walks off into the desert night on fire, led fans to speculate about the possibility of the duo breaking up. However, these fears were silenced when they appeared on the lineup for the Coachella Music Festival that spring. Their performance, which took place in the center of a futuristic chrome pyramid dome and featured an unprecedented amount of LED lights, left fans in awe and sparked the beginning of a world-dominating tour. In November of 2007, the duo released a live album that documented their incredible performance on the tour. This tour was significant as it was the first tour the band had done in a decade, and many had suspected their downfall, but the duo had outdone themselves, providing fans with an experience that was beyond what anyone could have expected. The live album was a testament to the creativity, innovation, and showmanship that Daft Punk had to offer. As Daft Punk's fame and success grew, so did the evolution of the iconic robotic suits. Along with their new music and performances, the suits were outfitted with electroluminescent lighting, as seen in their Grammy performance with Kanye West in 2007. In 2009, the album and its single, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, won Grammy Awards. In November of 2010, Daft Punk returned with new music in the form of the score for the film Tron Legacy. The soundtrack, which was a collaboration with Joseph Trapanese and featured an 85-piece orchestra, reached number 4 on the Billboard 200 Albums chart in the US and was nominated for the Grammy Award for Best Score Soundtrack Album for Visual Media. Thomas and Guy Manuel also made cameos in the film with their suits to fit the movie's aesthetics. For their 4th album, Daft Punk decided to pay homage to the albums and artists that had inspired them. They aimed for a breezy feel, drawing inspiration from Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles, and Jean-Michel Jarre, and emphasized live instrumentation. They collaborated with a wide range of artists, including Nile Rodgers, Paul Williams, Giorgio Moroder, and Panda Bear. They even went as far as to record the album using the same process used in the 70s and 80s, using live tapes. The album Random Access Memories was released in May of 2013 and featured the hit single Get Lucky featuring Pharrell Williams. The album was a massive success, topping the charts in over 20 countries and won several Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year, Best Dance Electronica Album, and Best Engineered Album. In the following years, Daft Punk continued to be active in the music industry, collaborating with other artists such as Kanye West, Pharrell Williams, Jay-Z, and The Weeknd. They also made appearances in documentaries and exhibitions that trace the history of electronic music and its influence on visual arts. In February 2021, the duo officially disbanded, spreading the news with a YouTube video that featured scenes from the end of Electroma. Their legacy in the music industry continues to be celebrated, and their influence in the electronic music scene is undeniable.